Hillary Clinton made her debut appearance on Howard Stern's show Wednesday and spilled her heart out. Clinton spoke with Stern as part of a promotional tour for the Book of Gutsy Women, which she wrote with her daughter, Chelsea Clinton. Here's a few takeaways from their conversation. She had a boyfriend when she met former President Bill Clinton. There was somebody before Bill, not to marry, but I loved him, Clinton said, adding that before meeting her husband, she dated a lot of different people. She even joked to Stern that she likes men, contrary to what you may have heard. Clinton said she broke up with her former boyfriend as she began developing feelings for Bill. As for meeting the future president, she was studying in the Yale Library when she spotted him staring at her. I said if you're gonna keep staring at me then I'm gonna keep staring back, so we at least ought to know each other's names, she recalled. Soon after, on a date to see a Mark Rothko art exhibit, the two found it closed. Bill Clinton managed to talk a janitor into opening it, she said, and the rest is history. The way they related to each other was magical, electric, and magnetic, Clinton says. On Trump's "Lock Her Up" chant, he has made it possible for all the worst impulses, Clinton said. It's like Pandora's box. You lift the top off and things start flooding out. That's difficult to get back in the box. She rocks out to the Rolling Stones. Clinton said she often chatted with Rolling Stones frontman Mick Jagger when she was First Lady, and he's now a friend. Senator Lindsey Graham. I don't know what's happened to Lindsey Graham, Clinton said, adding that it was like he had a brain snatch. Lindsey was good company, he was funny, he was self-deprecating, the former Secretary of State and Senator told Stern, remembering their time working together. He also believed in climate change back in those days. Has he sold his soul to the devil? Stern asked. I don't know, Clinton responded. That's a fair question. However, Graham had transformed in front of her eyes from one of Trump's harshest critics to his #1 loyalist. Trump was shocked when she called him to concede. He was so shocked he could barely talk, Clinton recalled. He was more shocked than me, I think. Clinton's humor came through when she coughed at one point during the interview. Talk turned to the intense focus on Clinton's health during her 2016 campaign. They make a big deal out of it, Clinton said, adding that God forbid she would cough on the campaign trail. I was dying. I thought I'd come on and cough some more, she quipped. Out of office and seemingly unlikely to ever run for any public office again, Hillary Clinton is throwing off her decades-long guardedness to offer her raw opinions about, well, everything. And in an interview with Howard Stern Wednesday for a new book she co-wrote with her daughter, Chelsea, Clinton absolutely drops the hammer on none other than Vermont Sen. Bernie Sanders. Asked by Stern whether she hated Sanders for the long primary campaign he ran against her in 2016 and the slowness with which he offered his eventual endorsement, Clinton said I don't hate anybody, before adding about the time it took Sanders to endorse her. He could have. He hurt me, there's no doubt about it. Then she delivered the dagger. And I hope he doesn't do it again to whoever gets the nomination. Once is enough. Woof. Clinton's comments to Stern about Sanders are remarkable put-downs, with multiple layers. First, she blames, at least in part, her loss in the 2016 election to President Donald Trump on Sanders' slow roll of an endorsement of her candidacy, and the lack of unity that signaled. Clinton made similar allegations against Sanders in her 2017 memoir about the race, saying that Sanders' attacks against her did lasting damage to her chances in the general election. A look at the timeline shows that it took about a month from the time Sanders ended his candidacy after the last primaries in early June to the time he endorsed Clinton in mid-July 2016. But even when that endorsement came, it was clear that tensions remained. As CNN wrote at the time, there appeared to be little natural chemistry between Clinton and Sanders, and their body language was noticeably stiff. The two avoided physical contact after first walking on stage together, and Sanders, in his 30-minute speech, repeatedly mentioned Clinton by name without acknowledging that she was standing next to him looking on. After concluding his speech, Sanders appeared to move in for a handshake, which Clinton ignored by stretching out her arms and offering a hug, instead. The real trolling by Clinton, however, comes not in her partial blaming of Sanders for her loss, because, as I noted above, she's done that before, but in her prediction for Sanders' chances in this race. Let's remember what Clinton said again. And I hope he doesn't do it again to whoever gets the nomination. Once is enough. Implied, and not in very subtly, in that comment is that Sanders isn't going to be the Democratic nominee in 2020. Which is a somewhat bold prediction, given that Sanders is second in national polling and among the top 4 in Iowa, New Hampshire and beyond. To be clear, Sanders isn't the current frontrunner, that's former Vice President Joe Biden still, but he's absolutely in the mix, making Clinton's seeming certainty that he won't be the nominee newsworthy. Then there's the warning to Sanders that when he does lose again, as Clinton is sure he will, that he had better not repeat the slow walk endorsement he gave her because he already cost the party a chance at beating Trump once. Which is heavy stuff. Even before Clinton's latest comments about Sanders, there was very little love lost between the two politicians and, even more so, between their supporters. What Clinton said Wednesday, however, will rip off the scab from 2016. Clinton believes there was a quid pro quo from President Donald Trump. Clinton said she believes that Trump was trying to bribe Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in their July phone call. Let's not mince words, Trump was trying to bribe the president of Ukraine to take action by announcing the beginning of an investigation on an unfounded theory against his domestic political opponent for his personal and political gain. Clinton said, "You can't make it up. Who would ever think anybody would do that?" 2. Clinton said attending Trump's inauguration was one of the hardest days of her life. "I went to the inauguration of Donald Trump, which was one of the hardest days of my life, to be honest," she said. She remarked on how she was seated next to former President George W. Bush and his wife, Laura, during Trump's speech. Then he started on that speech, which was so bizarre, and that's when I got really worried, she said. And George W. Bush says to me, "Well, that was some weird s." Clinton warned of the dangers of interference in the 2020 election, and said that she has told Democrat